questioning and trying to understand if there's incompetence amongst officers or if this is just ingrained in their DNA somehow, because there is another irrational, quick, swift decisions that are being made inside of vacuums without any context of how this affects everybody else. And this is being published by military.com, a very thorough publication that obviously has dove into this and asked more questions, and even has some whistleblowers on the inside of this command saying WTF to this commanding officer here. They say an armor officer at Fort Carson, Colorado this week issued a new set of policies to its formation, effectively banning soldiers from seeking mental health care, dental treatment, and legal counsel in the early morning hours to cement time for exercising, according to a copy of the memo reviewed by military.com. Obviously, some people that are older are going to be like, oh, the buzzwords, mental health. But we said legal. We also said regular health care, which I will dive into why this is the most worst idea. And also, I would say could go under fraud, waste, and abuse of the system if they are going through with this. On the memo, it says soldiers are not authorized to schedule appointments before 0900 in the morning. Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Boyd wrote, commander of 4th Squadron, 10th Cavalry Regiment, 4th Infantry Division, said in a memo Tuesday. This restriction applies to medical, dental, behavioral health, and other types of appointments. And this article dives into like every reason why retention is bad. I mean, obviously, bouncing back from the Afghanistan pullout, bouncing back from the COVID-19 vaccination mandate requirements, coming back from, I guess, say, just the turbulent years of the past 2-3-ish years of just the term toxic leadership as a common buzzword, as big military is looking at how we can fix this. That memo does not seem to have gotten to this commander one single bit, or he's just not been in tune with anything that's happening across social media as far as people talking about this. Some of those issues being parental leave rights. On top of that, focusing on housing issues, including barracks as well, and other things focusing on the warfighter and their ability to actually focus on, does this round enter the body of another human being? And that's all that matters. We'll get to that. And they've done their research here by annotating when hours are available over at the Fort Carson, Colorado clinic or hospital, whatever is there, I'm not sure which, but they are saying that these services are starting at 7:30. That's common across every single military branch, like a clinic or hospital. Usually for outpatient services, those will start at 7:30. I guess the one saving grace to this memo, according to military.com, is Boyd does say that there are exceptions. There are exceptions. I will read it. Boyd's memo notes that the units may approve earlier appointments, but that soldiers must consult with their commander before making that appointment, a move that can be complicated in situations in which healthcare providers may have to schedule follow-ups without delay. I'll say soldiers are supposed to let their leadership know whether they're going to be there or not, but it should be understood your place of duty is the appointment at which you're at, because if you are not healthy, then you cannot fight. It doesn't matter if you PT, at 05, 06, 2000, whenever the PT is happening. If it's happening, it's happening, right? I just don't understand why it is so prominent that when the most important time in the greatest access to care is probably in the morning, that's when they want this to go down. And I have a ton of medical expertise of 15 years to tell you exactly why this is dumb. Boyd then writes, we are in the business of warfighting, and to fight wars successfully, we must be physically fit for war. The rigors of combat will not forgive suboptimal fitness, Boyd's memo says. It says this policy memo protects the time to condition our bodies and minds to be fully ready. And I'm not disagreeing that physical fitness has a place in ensuring that people are there. The Army incentivizes this, that if you are super physically fit, you are more than likely going to promote above your peers and faster, because you can run that 2 mile quicker, or God knows whatever fitness tests they're going to come out with next week that is now accommodating to everybody. But I want to go into the people that are in this command are so scared to speak up, and that is probably the, I would say, loss of trust and confidence of any commander that is out there, because if your people are not saying this to you as the commander, that means they're going to tell everybody else, and they do not believe in your leadership. Anonymously, someone wrote, what problem is this trying to solve? One officer under Boyd said to military.com on the condition of anonymity to avoid retaliation. And they continue to say this is just going to create problems, not solve them. The issue of this, Lieutenant Colonel Boyd, is that you have now already lost the trust of somebody that's willing to speak out and say your decision was not great to a public publication that is now going to air this grievance and continue that notion that you are not caring and you do not care about your soldiers, because that's what this message is sending, is that you care more about PT than the well-being and health of somebody, which I would say that comes first before someone can physically train, because any military training, whether it be physically demanding of PT or something, as far as going through an obstacle course or whatever else, is required that there is a medical screening in order to do that, to mitigate risk and safety. And that way you, as the commander, are not held liable for issues that might occur during that physical training. So if somebody has a hurt shoulder, hurt knee, or whatever else, and it is known that they had an issue before that and you denied them care to go to do that, then that means that would hold you liable, which obviously you're like, well, that's not what I'm intending. We know someone's going to confuse that message of commander's intent is you show up no matter if you are dying on your deathbed. It says the 4th Infantry Division leadership is committed to holistic health and fitness of our soldiers. Lieutenant Colonel Joseph Payton wrote and says a spokesperson for the 4th Infantry Division told military.com in a statement after this article was originally published, saying anything that disrupts this aim is inconsistent with our responsibility to ensure our soldiers are fit to fight and are ready to take on any mission they may be called to support. Most daycares and schools for young children in the area open between 6 a.m. and 6:30 a.m., giving parents limited time to meet such a strict physical training schedule. Boyd, who took command in June, did not respond to multiple requests for comment. That's because he probably knows it's going to get outraged, just like me and everybody else that's watching this, that understands that I'm not trying to be soft here, but there are women that are in the military that are going to need to drop their kids off, that probably are going to need to have time to get there directly at 06 in the morning and then drive to wherever PT is at 06:30 promptly on the dot, or God forbid, they're going to be UA unauthorized absence, and pretty much you're going to only incentivize people to not want to stay in that we've already trained at boot camp, we already sent to AIT training, probably further specialty training, on top of that years of experience, which is informal on the job training. So I look at this and I'm like, you're really squeezing this very hard and there's not much juice that's going to come out of that. Now let's break it down. Defense Health Agency, the agency that is in charge of every single healthcare facility across the military now. Now, you guys should also know that a lot of appointments are 20 minutes, mandated by Defense Health Agency. So let's say it's 7:30. Then you have the 7:50. That's 7:30, 7:50, 8:10, 8:30, 8:50. 5 appointments for one singular provider that would not be utilized or could be just gone to waste. And I want to say here that this is wasteful of government resources, right? Because I'm going to go down this pipeline of that is wasting time, essential time that soldiers could be seeing. And if you multiplied that over the years, you could see that this would be thousands of wasted man hours that those soldiers at the clinic could be seeing your soldiers to make sure they are back doing the fight and better able to rehab, get better, and be able to be a better soldier. I have no idea what the manning is like of this unit. I have no idea if they have a cultural issue where everyone's just super fat, out of shape, and nobody can pass the PT test. Sounds like the Army in general was dealing with that, which is why they were getting rid of the old PT test already. There are other ways to implement this, right? Like, you could make lunches longer. Why does that be first thing in the morning? It is a personal responsibility that soldiers are supposed to be PTing. Like, we all understand that, yes, exercise is part of this factor, one bit of it. However, what's being shoveled in someone's mouth in the off-duty hours of, binge drinking and fast food and whatever else people are not usually nutritionally aware of is essentially going to be a bigger issue. There are better ways to commit yourself to ensuring people are fit, healthy, and meeting the standards of the military. There are nutritionists and dietitians that would be more than willing to do training at your unit. And I'm baffled because this is going against what the Army and what the military is trying to do of making it better and saying we're putting soldiers first. Again, this is going to be where the conversation continues for you guys down in the comments below. What do you guys think about this? Because obviously this has already been leaked to the public. So what do you think about this commander's intent? And let me know down in the comments below. As always, if you guys like what I cover on this channel, make sure you guys hit me up over on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.